Well, would you look at that? The woman who blames her failures in her sport on other people can't even get the story out of Washington, D.C. correctly.
It should absolutely terrify you that we have approximately zero idea just how many people are in this country, like the illegal Muslim terrorist who shot the National Guardsman today, who are currently living here totally unaccounted for. We now know that the shooter is an illegal Afghan national who was allowed in under President Biden, who has overstayed his visa. His name is Ramanullah. I guess that's how you say it. That literally translates to servant of Allah. Allah, the God of Islam. And I'll be the first to say it, not scared of being called Islamophobic. Islam, especially radical Islam, is not compatible with Western civilization. Sharia law is deeply rooted in forced compliance, honor killings, pedophilia, total oppression of women, none of which is compatible with Western civilization, America. God forbid these National Guardsmen die. I believe currently they're still in critical condition. God forbid they do. I truthfully am of the mind that President Biden and Mayorkas, the former Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, should be charged for their murder. I don't know, my blood is just boiling. I'm heartbroken. Again, this is right before Thanksgiving. And so I just pray that we recognize the evil that is seeking to destroy us, destroy our country. And I pray that we combat it by seeking truth and righteousness in God, our Savior.
The American Taliban has spoken. If you don't know who that is, that's Riley Gaines, the woman that constantly blames trans people on her failures to be able to win a swim meet. Perpetual fifth place finisher there. No, you don't know shit, because the person who shot those two National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. was not here illegally. This is a person that you jumped on the illegal narrative on immediately the day of the shooting because it fit your narrative. It fits your thought process. But this is somebody that actually worked with our CIA, was allowed into this country under programs that allowed people like him into this country, was vetted in 2024 and granted the ability to stay in this country in April of this year by Donald Trump's administration. How does that make him illegal? Your president said he could stay. You didn't mention that part, did you? Did you?
What we know is that he comes here from Afghanistan. Now, this is a guy who's been living in Washington State, not Washington, D.C., on the other end of the country. He comes here from Afghanistan in the summer of 2021. Remember what that was like. Refugees fleeing Afghanistan, people had to be recommended by U.S. people on one end, vetted on this end by government background checks as far as they could do in Afghanistan, have sponsors and so on. He settled in Washington. He applies for asylum in December of 2024. Now, he goes through another vetting process involving that, and he's approved for asylum in April of this year under the Trump administration. He comes in under the Biden administration. These checks are being done. I remember, as a part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force in New York, where we supplied people for that vetting process, it was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of people. They were being kept in military installations. A lot of that vetting had to be done very quickly. I also remember we had to go back afterwards when we found information on certain people and bring them back. In this case, that's all we know about this individual, but it appears that he must have done work either for or with the United States in Afghanistan to become part of the Allies Welcome Program and be brought here.
He was approved for asylum in April of 25 under the Trump administration. But you rage-baiting sack of shit, immediately, the day of the shooting, went with the he's here illegally and Biden let him in narrative. This is why we shouldn't listen to these fucking people. They're trying to get their 15 minutes of fame by using the shock value that feeds red meat to the base of the Republican Party. She didn't know shit about this shooter when she ran with that bullshit narrative. We got to stop listening to people like Riley Gaines. Who the fuck is Riley Gaines?